This is Rogue Wing, Coraline, or Helen RD over at Starship Modeler. Welcome to the workshop. Greetings and good evening, at least evening where I am. Back on the workbench now. Set the Enterprise aside, but as kind of a tune-up for the Big Spring contest that's getting ready to start at the end of the month over at Scale Model Addict, I decided I needed to get at least one relatively quick, relatively straightforward build done. As it would have it, recently arrived from HobbyLink Japan. Is one of three the Dragon Iron Man 3 kits. In this particular case, I'm starting with the Iron Man Mark 42. It's a styrene kit. Instructions are fairly straightforward, but you do need to pay fairly close attention, both to the instructions and to how the parts are keyed. Step one here is basically the armature that's going to support everything else. Not too worried about the seams here because little if any of this is going to be visible when all is said and done. That is the first step. You've actually got individual pieces here, here, and of course the neck piece. Squeezed between halves at the hip, kind of the abdomen and the chest support. All in all, it looks like it should be a fairly straightforward build. I'm looking forward to seeing how it builds up because I've got two other kits in the pile from the same collection. Stay tuned. Well, so far so good. Looks like I'm getting my wish about a pretty straightforward build. That's most of steps 1 through 3. The arc reactor is now in place. I've glued it in, but I'm going to go ahead and paint it because there's a clear piece that goes over the top of it behind the finish of the breastplate. The only seam I've had a problem with so far, really, is here where the two chest halves meet. As you can see, I've got it clamped with a rubber band to hold it good and tight. I'll pop that tomorrow. The rest of the seams are actually almost non-existent because they all fall on armor lines. The only other seam I've really got is right here, and that could be an armor seam. So, there's steps 1 through 3 for the most part. Moving right along. One of the things I didn't mention before, but that I really like about this, is it's designed to be done in sub-assemblies. Just about done with the main body. The arms are separate, the head's separate, and the legs are separate, which will also ease painting this thing, because there are a lot of nooks and crannies in there for detail. It's a very well detailed kit. Of course, it coming from Dragon, I'm not really surprised. Well, that's probably pretty much it for tonight. We'll see where we go tomorrow. I'll probably get some paint on the arc reactor, but that's about it. Okay, I lied. One more quick update. Namely, the finish of step 3. Don't know how well this is going to show up in the video, but I've got the arc reactor in place now. Gave it a base coat of light gray primer, quick black wash, and then dry brushed it in white before putting it under the lens. When the time comes to paint it, I just mask it off. But the installation of that means I now have steps 1 through 3 finished. looking pretty good. I definitely love the detail level in this kit. Detail in the arc reactor is just fabulous too. Beats the Mobius flat spots that you just paint white or blue all the heck. Now I'm really looking forward to the other two kits I've got. But at this point, that really is where it sits because I need to head to bed. Alright, didn't have a lot of time to work tonight. In fact, I only had about 6-7 minutes. That's all the time it took when you're using Testors liquid cement and only have to put together about 4 pieces. So what we have here is the helmet head of the Iron Man Mark 42. The piece going into the bottom of the head, forming the bottom here, is actually kind of a pseudo vinyl, but it's taking the model glue just fine, the liquid cement just fine. I went ahead and painted the backs of the eyes with white to give them a little bit of a glow. Hopefully I'll be able to mask those off. But that's the next stage. And here we are again. Before I go too much further with this, I cannot say enough about the quality engineering Dragon has put into this kit. A couple of the assemblies are a little bit fiddly, but the end results pay off beautifully. Most of your seams are either on armor joins or covered by other armor plates. Got the left arm done here. As you can see, the repulsor is still empty. The hands are the same pseudo vinyl that the neck piece for the head was, but the repulsor lenses are designed to be inserted from the outside, which means I can wait till after I paint this to actually insert them. As I said, left arm's done. The only seam I really got is right here, and if you look closely, I could call that an armor joint. The left leg is also done. You can't really make out most of the core piece that holds this thing together. But, again, it's all done. There are 3 pieces of this kit that amaze me. The shin piece, the feet, and the forearms. They're one piece. They are not halves. There is no seam line down here, or along here, or back here, because that's one piece. Same with his boot. The sole of the boot is a separate piece, but the whole top of the boot is all one piece. The other thing I'm loving about the engineering of this kit, you'll see the slot there. There's actually an insert that fits that. And that baby goes right on. And once you get the other leg in place, he'll be quite stable. Arm assemblies are keyed. This one's going to take a little more forcing to get into place because of the way it's set up. But, you know, we're coming right along here. Not too worried about getting that in firm because I want to paint these pieces separately. It'll just make it easier to get at everything. That's where we're sitting at the moment, though. I've got the left arm and leg done. Next up is going to be the right arm and leg, of course. And then, you know what? It's going to be time for primer. Well, one of the things I was looking for in this was a quick build. I got that, largely due to the engineering of this kit. At this point, I now have the right arm and leg done. Again, it's designed for the sub-assemblies. That socket will fit perfectly into the socket on the torso. The right leg is also done. As you can see, very little, if any, seamage actually showing. What little seamage is showing here will actually get hidden a lot by the section here on the torso. At this point, the only pieces I haven't put on are the lenses for the repulsors, and there are a couple of skirt pieces that go at the bottom of the torso here, which go into place after the legs go on. I'm going to hold off putting them in till I get the legs on, which is going to wait till after I do my initial run of paint. But at this point, saying I am ecstatic with this build would be an understatement. Let me bring this up so you can actually see what's going on here. I mean, he'll almost stand on his own. In fact, if I get the legs completely socked in right, and it still won't quite stand on his own. But, you know, get that lined up. Oddly enough, it's the same pose, well, roughly the same pose anyway. I'm not going to force that on at the moment. It's roughly the same pose you get with the smaller Revell kit. Take advantage of the hole in the bottom of his foot here. See if I can get him to actually stand on his own. No, he's still going to rock back. But this point, we're essentially ready for primer. I want to give kudos to Dragon for the engineering of this kit. It is excellent. I'm looking forward to building the other two that I got. Stay tuned.